Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I'm your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about The Night Guest by Hildur Knútsdóttir. My apologies. Translated from Icelandic by Mary Robinette Cowell, or Cowell, Kowal, and this is from Tor Nightfire. This is part of the book bundle that I'm doing, where I'm reading 5 books translated into English. This is the 4th book, and as I said, it is translated from Icelandic into English. And this is about a young woman named, again, apologies, I did look up how to pronounce this. I got a couple slightly different variations, but essentially, like the first one just sounded like Eden to me, Eden. But then another one kind of put a little English on it, not literally speaking. That would be like a pool term, but Idun. So Idun is a young woman who wakes up every morning feeling sore and tired, as if she hasn't slept at all, and occasionally she has mysterious bruises. Doctors can't find anything wrong. She ends up buying an odometer watch. And one night she forgets to take it off. And when she wakes up in the morning, it is registered over 40,000 steps. What the hell's going on? That's your nutshell. For the too long didn't watch crowd, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. The writing is the story is being told by Idun, and I really like her voice, the way she's telling the story, her sarcasm, her little sort of asides within the story, and very, very fun narrator. And she is just as much in the dark as to what's going on as we are. We are learning everything as she is learning everything. And we're introduced to the doctor that she's seeing. At the beginning, we're introduced to some coworkers. There's an ex-boyfriend. There's a potentially new boyfriend. But not a huge cast of characters. It's a very slim book. It is 194 pages, and it is written. There are chapters. There are parts of the book where empty space is just as important as the words on the page, if that makes sense, if I'm expressing that properly. So it's a very quick read. I read it in a day. I don't know if this will help anybody. Simply in the nature of the story, I was reminded of Come Closer by Sarah Gran. Not in the story beats, not in what type of story it is, maybe a little bit, but just the essence, the feeling of the story. If I remember correctly, it's been a little while since I read Come Closer. That's also a woman with something weird going on, and she doesn't know what it is, and it's affecting her life. It's a different thing than what's going on here, but again, we have a young woman where something weird is going on, and it's affecting her life. And it slowly builds, not too slowly, because again, it's a very quick read, but it builds. We're learning as she's learning, and I just love the way the story is told. I love the places it goes, and I love the narrative voice of Idun. And I don't know what else there is to say about this. Apparently, this is going to be a very short review. It's great. It builds tension. There's creepy stuff that happens. It's a very, very well told story. And the author, Hildur Knútsdóttir, pardon me, says she was born in Reykjavik, Iceland in 1984. I was in Iceland in 1989/90, I believe, is when I was there. So possibly we were in the same country at the same time. But it does say she has lived in Spain, Germany, and Taiwan. So I don't know when that was. Maybe when she was a kid and she wasn't in Iceland when I was there. She writes fiction for both adults and teenagers, as well as short fiction plays and screenplays. She's known for her evocative, fantastical fiction and spine-chilling horror. I want more. I'm going to have to see if any more of her stuff has been translated into English. I picked this up because it's part of Tor Nightfire, and I like to pick up 95% of what they put out. There are some exceptions, things that don't interest me for very personal reasons. But yeah, I picked this up because it's Tor Nightfire, and it sounded interesting. And 5 out of 5 stars. I think if you like Come Closer by Sarah Gran, you're very much going to enjoy this book. I wasn't even halfway through it when I messaged a friend of mine and said, throw this at the top of your TBR. I think you're going to love it. The Night Guest, Hildur Knútsdóttir. The penultimate book in my book bundle of books translated into English, and also the second book in a row that has The Night something. Because previous to this, I read The Night House. Now it's The Night Guest. That's where it's going to end, because the next book is Three Assassins. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. I don't want to give anything away. Well written, great narrative voice, interesting characters, fascinating story. Had no idea where it was going. 5 out of 5 stars. All right. That is The Night Guest. Do I have recommendations based on this? Well, Come Closer by Sarah Gran. Absolutely got the same vibes from this that I did from that book. That's the one recommendation I'm going to make, because the only other things I could think of were, I don't think, match this book. It was kind of the Sarah Pinborough thriller, like Behind Her Eyes, but that doesn't compare to this. It's not the same kind of thing, in my opinion. I mean, you should read Sarah Pinborough. If you can find her old, like, leisure horror, fantastic stuff. I've only read Behind Her Eyes of her new sort of thriller type stuff, but I enjoyed it very much. But that's not a comparison to this book, so that's not a real recommendation. It's a recommendation, but it's not a recommendation based on this book. Question for the video. I don't have one. We're going to keep it short and sweet, just like the book itself. I gave you the recommendation. If you haven't read Come Closer by Sarah Gran, absolutely check that out. So there you go. Well, if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Bluesky in the description below. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.